Excited, finally, game week here. Kind of seems like a long time. I don't know. It's it's like Bizarro world, right? Like Bizarro Jerry. If you ever saw that Seinfeld episode, it's like this weird deal. I've never been this late in September. We haven't played. For our guys, obviously, it's a huge adjustment this week for us because you got to go full-on change into game mode, different types of practice, different preparation, different routine, different everything for us getting ready from what we've been doing. It's been a long time since we played, so we're excited to go. Injury-wise, for you guys, I'll give you Finley Graham will be out this week. He has a broken arm. Lamar Goods has a foot strain. He'll be out. Josh C. is out with a hamstring strain. Nick Sutton is out. Ethan Pouncey will be out for the year, had hip surgery. And Ethan White will be out coming off. Had a knee surgery. We expect him to be back shortly, though. Those are our injuries right now. 'Cause I know you guys love those things. So, what questions you got? Or is that it? I gave you the injuries, so you guys are good to go. Go now.
Hey, Pat, you want about Ludo?
Yeah, Dan. How much are you curious and looking forward to seeing how your team responds to all that they've had to go through, and then to go on the road to start the season?
We're excited. I'm excited to see how we respond and how we come out and play. I know our guys. I think everybody's excited to play. Excited to get out there on the field and go. I'm excited to see how we respond and how we handle it. Because I think it's a little bit different. It's going to be a different environment that we play in. Obviously, going on the road is always on the road in the SEC is always a big challenge. But the environments and how those are going to be played out differently. And then our travel will be a little bit different this year than it's been in the past. How we set up game day, with meals and all of that stuff of trying to keep everybody spaced out. I'm excited. We haven't played in forever, so I'm excited for us to play. You keep asking, hey, how are we going to be this year? I don't know. We're going to find out on Saturday. We've kind of had a weird training camp, only going against each other. So it'd be good to see what we look like against another team and a quality SEC team.
Also, how are you in terms of is everybody else expected to be, as we sit here right now, ready to go in terms of any contact tracing or testing?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that stuff. That's not for me to get into. I don't think. I give you guys the injury report, but all of that stuff and how that works. I don't know. I'm going to have to brush up on all my medical stuff of how we would let people know if there is anybody of that nature.
Find out Saturday.
You'll find out Saturday.
Mark.
Dan, are you relieved to get to this point? And what makes you anxious going into this game?
One, obviously, you're kind of getting into your routine. You're always anxious in game one I have my checklists of all our stuff, but you're not in the routine. By game, you get into your game week routine, and you're just very routine oriented. Game one, you're not really in that routine yet. So that makes me anxious. Obviously, all the COVID stuff makes you anxious. You know what I mean? Is all the different scenarios that can play out during the course of the week. You could sit here and on, Thursday afternoon say, hey, there's these 10 guys can't play. You kind of have your whole game plan done, all your depth chart done. Right now, as it's said, I think I could be getting ready to walk on the plane, and they say, hey, these 10 guys can't get on the plane. And you got to do a whole new game plan Friday night. So that makes me pretty anxious. That'll keep you up at night, just trying to create solve as many different issues and problems and deal with every one of these scenarios that could happen.
And there were a couple of reports that you had an assistant coach test positive, or is the staff back?
Yeah, that was a false positive.
Okay. Thank you.
So we did have a coach test positive, and we found out, the next 3 days he tested negative, and it was a false positive from the lab.
Edgar, go ahead.
Sorry, Dan. Trying to tweet, hit mute, figure out a question. John Hevesy said the O-line's made a lot of strides. The experience they've had shown. Do you feel like you're going to finally have a downhill running game this year and not have to scheme to run the ball like you've maybe had to the last 2 years?
Well, I think 2 years ago we ran the ball pretty well, I thought. Last year, not as well. So, I don't know. We'll find out on Saturday if how well we run the ball. Like I said, if you would have asked me going into the season last year, I'd have thought, boy, we can really run the ball downhill, and, we're pretty physical up front. And it just didn't turn out that way in games. We were much better passing and doing other things. If you had asked me the year before that, I didn't know we were as good a running team as we were coming into the season. We ended up being a pretty darn good running team. So I think I think a lot of it you don't know until you start playing other people, because you just kind of gone against yourself so much. The offense and the defense kind of know each other. They know how to play against each other. They know their opponents. And I think sometimes it gets skewed the wrong way on what you do well and what you do poorly. And, you get into games, you find out a little bit more.
Did you get a chance to talk to some college NFL coaches maybe about generating energy without big crowds?
Yes. It's interesting. I've talked to people, and, one is going to see, because we are going to have people in the crowd, in the stands. And you talk to people, the difference when there are people in the stands compared to when there aren't people in the stands, and how different that is, and the different feeling of everything. And so we're going to have some people in the stands, but it's still going to, even with people in the stands, it's going to be very different than what you're used to. And so we've talked about that and kind of prepared our guys for that.
Thanks, Dan.
Robbie, go ahead.
Hey, Dan, I was wondering if you've had any players opt out.
Nope.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's only Monday.
Matt Baker?
Only Monday. Ole Miss on Saturday. My understanding is you have some sort of history go back and forth with them. So what's kind of your any favorite memories or games of the school up north?
Oh, wow. Bunch. You're talking the Mississippi State Ole Miss game. It's one of the great rivalries in sports. So to be involved in that, such a huge deal. I think I have 5 great memories and 4 terrible memories, I think, of that game, of playing against them. So, anytime you win, holding that trophy up when you win that Egg Bowl trophy, something that's really, really, really special. But anything, rivalries are one of the things. You look at the rivalries, you look at the traditions. Those are things that make college football so great and so special. The passion of the fans, and you have in-state rivalries. You're talking neighbor against neighbor, and so. I have a bunch of good ones. I have a couple bad ones too. So in that game. So it's, but it's different now. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, I don't think I said Ole Miss for 9 years, but now I say it. But that was just all part of the rivalry, and it became a pretty big deal. I think early on it was kind of. When I first got there, teams were kind of fighting for their identity, and then all of a sudden, during the time when I was there, both teams became top 10, national programs, and so I think that kind of also, I don't know if it helped bring it to that level, or the rivalry brought it to that level, or the intensity got both teams to that next level of playing, but it certainly became a big deal, and it became a huge game.
I don't think I know the story. why didn't you call them Ole Miss? Why was it always the school up north?
Yeah, because I didn't give them the credit for that. We were the state university of Mississippi, and there was Southern Miss. I didn't call them Northern Miss, but that got people all worked up too. So, no, it's just one of those things you do, and to be honest with you, it sparks the rivalry. It's something about your kids, and it was always something to make that game so different than every other game, because that was your big rivalry game of the year. And so it's always just little things we would do to make that game different and feel different and kind of stand alone in a uniqueness of being a big game for a rivalry. And so that was just one of the things that we did for them.
Thank you.
Cassidy.
In all your years, you never had anyone simulate using the restroom, though. So I don't know if you'll ever be able to top that.
Yeah, I saw that last year. That was a tough deal. You know what I mean? It's such a big game. I don't know. I mean, that was such an intense game. So, in those deals and to see it, that was a crazy ending to that game last year. I'm watching that one. But, I know I was a big proponent of that game being played on Thanksgiving. So, and then now I'm not there anymore to play it. So we get to go up to Oxford, play Ole Miss on a regular deal. I don't know. I think I remember going to high school once, and the lady, hopefully the Ole Miss, they like me now. I had a lady come up to me and said, "Coach, I pray for you every day." I said, "Oh, that's so nice." She goes, "I'm an Ole Miss fan. I pray somebody comes, hires you, and gets you the heck out of this state as soon as possible." So I thought it was fun. I mean, just the intensities of the rivalry. So now I left, so maybe they like me a little bit more.
The lady must have a good connection then. No, okay, now that we actually are in game week, though, can you give a little bit of a scouting report on Ole Miss?
Well, it's tough. One of the things, you look at the talent players. I mean, they have two really talented quarterbacks, great talented running back, some guys on the edge. O-lines, have some guys coming back up front on the O-line defensively. Inside linebackers with a lot of experience, some guys that can come off the edge and rush the passer. And guys that have played in the secondary. So, they have guys that have been out there, guys that have played. One of the hard ones is you have a whole new coaching staff. They're looking at us and saying, "Hey, let's go to last year's film," and same, offense coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach, special teams coordinators, all the same, and everybody's brand new. So you're kind of trying to mix and match what they're going to do offensively, what they're going to do defensively, what they're going to do special teams wise. You're watching all these different other teams from where the people have been in the past, and then then you're trying to watch their personnel, and so it's always tricky. I'm never a big fan of not watching the team you're playing, but anytime you play a team with a new staff, that's what you have to do.
And then maybe in your hopes of giving them something new that they haven't seen, did you see anything while watching more NFL games than normal that maybe you jotted down in that little notebook that you've got?
No, we do that in the off season. So we study a lot of NFL stuff in the off season. That Cowboys onside kick was pretty impressive.
It depends on which team you're on.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But just little things like I saw that, but a lot of the stuff we end up watching probably a lot more in the off season and going through and breaking down a lot of the NFL film during the spring and the off season more than in the last weekend, or 2 weeks ago. I didn't get. We were working all day. We were working yesterday, so I didn't get to see much NFL yesterday.
Great. Thank you.
Jackie.
Hi, Dan. Last week, you guys invited several different law enforcement departments over to talk to the players and have open discussion. How important was to have something like that there, and what was kind of the reaction of the players after it?
I think it was great. I think it's very educational. We've done a lot of things. We've done, the players talking to each other, different groups, different experiences. And in the light of where we're at today is I thought it was really important to hear different sides of things. Great for the law enforcement to hear issues, thoughts, concerns, how our guys think. Also for our guys to be educated on a lot of different things. I learned a couple of new things. So I thought, I think very helpful, very beneficial. I have a lot of respect for our law enforcement. I think they have such a very, very difficult job in what they do, and the respect I have for them is immense, and I always have. And I think always, wherever I've been, like the football team, you end up trying to have a great relationship with the law enforcement where you are, because, you know what? I mean, you're two very recognizable groups in the community. And so I think for our guys to kind of learn and learn a little bit about them, learn different things, different procedures, different situations they're into, and have a different feeling for these people that also have extremely, they'll live their life really under a microscope in the community as well.
And football-wise, I know as a coach you're never entirely too happy about where your team is, but are you at least content with how this team kind of approached fall camp, and after everything that 2020 kind of dealt with them, are you happy on game week?
Yeah, I think our guys have done a great job to this point. We'll see how it translates on Saturday. So, but I am pleased. I'm pleased with how our guys have handled everything. The maturity they've handled things, how they've continued to work and improve. The responsibility of wearing their mask, social distancing, of trying to limit issues. I think our guys have done a really good job. So I'm happy where we are. Obviously, we'll see how it plays out on Saturday.
Thank you.
Coach, with this game getting moved up earlier in the schedule and everything else that went on in the offseason, what did you learn about Ole Miss's defense with DJ Durkin and Chris Parchers leading the charge there? What challenges schematically do they bring in that limited window that you had time to prepare from when the game was announced?
Well, they've never played a game together, so I don't know. We'll find out on Saturday. What we're doing is trying to look at the different schemes, look at the different personnel, try to figure out what they're going to do. I'll know more about that on Saturday. If we were to watch them play a couple games, I'd give you a better answer.
Buddy, go ahead.
Hi, Dan. Could you talk about what it's like to assimilate into a culture like you did in Mississippi, and then Lane Kiffin, who's a little bit different cat, coming in there, and what does he bring to that program besides the obvious, and how do you think he'll be accepted in Mississippi?
Well, I think this, right? I went to Mississippi, and as a northerner going into Mississippi, I think there are a lot of questions about me. And I won a bunch of football games at Mississippi State, and so they accepted me. My kids were local. They were born there, so they were okay. But Megan and I, we won a bunch of games, so we got accepted. So they started to like us. It is. I think one of the really unique things about coaching is you get to experience a lot of different things. I've got to live a lot of different places around the country, experience different cultures, experience different people. And, I think Lane will do a great job. I think Lane's a good coach. He brings a lot of energy, brings confidence and kind of a swagger to a team. And I think that's something that'll be really good for Ole Miss, is to have a guy like that at the helm and to help give that confidence. I know this in Mississippi, they love their football. They love their college football. They love their teams, and you know what? I think Len will do great because I loved living in Mississippi. There's great people, great sense of community, great family values in the state. Have a lot of close friends that we've made during our time live there. And, it was, if you ask a lot of guys on our coaching staff, they'll tell you it's the favorite place they've ever lived. You look at some of our coaches, their kids are going back there to go to college. And that just speaks highly of the sense of community. I didn't spend time in Oxford much, but, in Starkville, the sense of community, the sense of people, and the quality of people that are in Mississippi, it was just, I can't say enough. The best thing about the state of Mississippi are the people, and the Mississippians, and they were great people, and really enjoyed the time there, and I'm sure Lane will too. And Mike Leach, to be honest with you, I'm sure he'll have a great time too.
Thank you. I have one about expectations. You came here with high expectations. You made it clear you were going out to win championships. Expectations is a double-edged sword, as you know. How far can you push that envelope so that your people, your fans, don't have quote-unquote unacceptable expectations? And how do you manage that as a new coach, which you're not anymore, but coming in and setting expectations without leading your fans down the wrong road?
Well, I'll be honest. I always set high expectations, so it'd be hard for me not to lead them down the road, down the wrong road. I always have extremely high expectations of myself, our team, and our football program. Our coaches, our players. I have extremely high expectations of everybody, and I always have. That's just me as a coach. I want us to be the absolute best we can be every single day, and I want us to compete for championships on a yearly basis. And if that causes our fans to think, that we're better than we are, then it does. But you know what? My expectations. I'm not going to lower my expectation level to try to make it easier for our fan base to accept where we are. My expectations are going to be probably higher than our fan bases. But, I also view things probably a little different because I'm viewing our expectations on a play-by-play, day-by-day basis more than, hey, the season ended at this record. I'm looking at expectations in very, very probably different view than the general fan. I have a play-by-play expectation.
Thanks, Coach.
Zach.
Hey, Dan, during your first cycle, obviously, Matt was committed to Florida and went out there and had a visit with him. What was it like getting to know him and his family? And obviously, he made the decision to go elsewhere. And what do you think about, the job he's done at Ole Miss?
Well, I got to meet him just the one time. Went out there and visited him one time, and seemed like a nice kid, really nice family. Competitor, good quarterback. Has a live arm, can make a lot of different throws. Deceptively athletic in that, I think he's for kind of a guy that's gets credit to be a passer. He's pretty athletic and can extend plays and make things happen out there on the field. So, he hasn't been there very long. So to be, he's still growing and still learning, and then obviously having a new system to see how he adapts to that new system.
And then what was your favorite win in Oxford? Probably the last one, right?
No, I think I'm I won twice there. They were both really good, to be honest with you. Listen, in that series, when you play huge rivalry games, it's hard to say I have a favorite. You know what I mean? You embrace and love every single one of them. The last time I was there, we had a great win, and the first time I was there, we had a great win. So they're both really, really, really good.
No doubt. Appreciate it, Dan.
Yeah.
Brendan.
Hey, Dan. Just from watching the NFL this weekend, it seems like there were a lot of injuries, especially to big-time players, and some have thought that might be due to the shortened off season. Are you concerned that could be a problem in the college level too?
We'll see. I did see something about that, and that was one of the first things that did pop in my mind, or is how prepared is everybody, ready to go. We haven't played games yet, so I'll see how that plays out in games. We're very protective of our guys in practice. We take health extremely seriously in practice. So, that injuries are kind of end up, unfortunately, are part of the game of football. And so, as you see guys get banged up, and it's a shame, especially you see high-profile players that's bad at the next level. But we'll see as the season plays out, maybe if it does or not. I don't know that I have any facts to say yes or no about it at this point.
Yeah, and then Ole Miss has both a new coach and a quarterback battle going on. How much of an advantage is it for you guys to have an established starter like Kyle Trask?
Yeah, I guess it's it's a good advantage, but both of their guys have started and played games, so they have experience being out there playing games. It's just new in their system. So it's good, I guess, for us, the advantage that our guys know our system to go out there and execute it. I guess the tough part is their guys are learning their system, but we don't have much to evaluate their guys in the system, and they have a lot to evaluate on our guys in the system.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
We'll go Nick and then close with Edgar.
Hey Dan, just looking at Plumlee from last year, really dynamic in terms of, like you said, about Corral being able to extend the play. How do you kind of get your guys ready just to be sound and prepared for a quarterback that can do, run the ball in throw?
Well, I think you look at it, a different deal. They're a little different players. Obviously, Plumlee, I mean, I know really well. I think I was the first person to offer him. At Mississippi State back in the day, I mean, he came up. I mean, he is an explosively fast player. I think we actually were looking at him as a corner. When he first came up, he wasn't playing he wasn't starting a quarterback, but he was playing DB, and he can fly. I mean, he has elite speed and game breaking. He can break a game open at any time. But then you go to Matt, and Matt can, like you said, can extend and scramble and play. So it's going to be kind of that, that strain to play all the way to the whistle every single snap. Don't just assume. A lot of times you're in practice, you thud, the whistle blows. Hey, I had him. Hey, that would have been a sack. We can't assume those things. We got to get 11 guys running the ball as hard as we can every snap.
When was that? Was it his freshman year when you offered him?
I think it's right before his sophomore year.
Before his sophomore?
I think. I don't know.
In corner, like that elite of speed, but
yeah.
quarterback?
Yeah. He's that elite speed.
Thanks, Coach.
I don't know if we have anybody as fast as him on our team.
Maybe C.J. Henderson from last year?
No, I think he probably would time faster than him.
Wow.
Edgar.
Yeah, it says he's like a 4.4 guy at least.
Yeah, he's pretty fast.
So, Dan, Ethan White, though, a bit more on him. How was he looking? How does that alter your plan on the O-line? I mean, he was playing a lot at center. How does that reconfigure things for you?
Yeah, well, like I said, we have to get a bunch of guys ready, and you hope that you really feel comfortable. I think you feel good if you have 8 O-linemen kind of going in, right? You have your starting 5, and you have a backup center, a backup guard and a backup tackle that you feel really comfortable about playing. I mean, we're obviously going to have more than that, but you feel really comfortable within a rotation. And, he was a guy playing center and guard. So, again, what it does is it hurts the depth aspect of things we expected him to be a starter for us, either at center or guard. He could start for us. So, now you're going into the 6th guy is coming into play. And it's just the trickle down effect, right? Number 7 now has to become number 6, and 8 comes 7. You're trying to find an 8th guy that you feel really comfortable with young guys. We have some good young players. I do think we have some really good young players, but you want to always give them time to grow on the offensive line, and so it really, I think, hurts the depth a little bit more. But one of the reasons why, when you guys ask, who's playing where, that we shuffle guys all over the field so that we have the opportunity to put different combinations to handle injuries, that multiple, we have a different combination to get these 5 guys on the field. If we think we have our 5 best linemen, we want to have them on the field and not be position stuck.
Great. Thanks, Dan.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good day. We'll see all you guys soon.